Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to use my new Aeropress, and this is a new way to make coffee. If you get up in the morning and you only want one cup, this is the way to go because it makes as good a cup of coffee as a French press, and you just get a single cup and the mess is over with. Basically, what this device is a big syringe, and on this syringe has a little filter basket on the bottom that goes on. So, I'll pull this apart here. You can see this is just a big syringe. It's got a plunger and the outer casing, and then this filter holder. And they give you a funnel to help you put your coffee grounds in and stuff like that. But basically, the way this works is you take a filter out of this little basket here. They give you a number of these little round filters. It's lasted me for about a month now. You drop it into, well, it's got two of them there. You drop it into the filter basket, and you twist it onto the bottom of this, and you set it on top of your coffee cup. Now you want to make sure the cup is big enough to hold an entire syringe of coffee. Generally this is a little bit less coffee than what I normally pour into a cup like this, but you want one that's for sure big enough. So basically it came with that. It came with this measuring scoop. This measuring scoop is measured to be precisely 1 cup of coffee, about 16 grams, and you can use either ground coffee, or you can grind your own, and you can choose how ground you want it down to be. I usually grind mine down to an espresso grind. That way I don't have to leave it steep as long inside of this syringe. Now I usually put about one and just a little bit more, tad more of coffee beans in there, and I turn this all the way down to the finest grind I can get for espresso, and then I crank her on. Goes on top. Now, I'm going to show you this before we put it in. This is the filter end of this. Came off and shows you the filters inside, and it just clamps on like that. And this is just a big plunger that will go inside of here when we're ready to push the coffee through. So it goes on top, goes on top. Make sure we got our coffee all ground. And go ahead and just put her in. So you shake it around, get it evened out in there so it covers the bottom of the filter. And the hardest part of this is it takes the most time, is to heat up your water. You want to get your water heated up to about 175 degrees. I just overheated mine a little bit, so let's check it out here. And what I use is I use a thermometer actually to check my water temperature. And I'm not sure how important it is, but they seem to want it at about 175, no more, no less. So it's at 175 right now. And you pour your water into the syringe all the way up to the top. And I just stare at it here a little bit. Wait for it to drop down a little bit, because at a certain point, before it won't overflow, you reach down there and stir it up with this stirring stick, and that gets it all off the bottom and mixes it good with the hot water, gives it good contact with the hot water. Now that will drip down a little bit, and so we let that run a little bit, because I want to add a little bit more water to it so I get a more full cup. So I drop it down maybe 1.5 inches or so. Then add a little bit more water to it, all the way up to the top. And then we wait for about 30 seconds or so and let all the goodness of the coffee soak into the water. And and as we sit here, it actually does drip through the coffee filter a little bit, but not too fast. It happens faster if you use if you use a more coarse grind. It'll actually drip through faster, so you'll have less time. There's another method. If you want to use a coarser grind, some people actually put the syringe in and fill this thing up upside down, so the coffee doesn't actually drip through ahead of time, because they want to let it soak for 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so after you waited about 30 seconds, you push the coffee mixture through the filter with this syringe. This goes into the coffee cup. I'm having a pretty good pressure, so it actually does take a little bit to force it through the filter. And once it gets to the bottom, I push it down and I actually put some pressure on the coffee grounds against the filter base and extract all the water out of there, moisture out of there. And at this point, you take it off, you rinse the bottom, pull the filter holder off, and you're basically left with the filter and with coffee grounds underneath there, all with all the water extracted from them. And we go over and we just pop this through into the garbage, and it gets rid of the whole mess instantly. Popped it out, and all you're left with then is some coffee grounds on the bottom of the thing, and you just rinse those off. Pull the plunger, rinse off the entire thing. Push the plunger back through, and you push it all the way through so it is past the cylinder, so you don't keep the edges of this compressed while it's in storage, so it doesn't deform. Throw it all back together like this, and back into the cabinet. And we're ready for our cup of coffee. 10 more minutes, we'll do it again.